Hello to everyone across Canada. Hello to everyone across Canada now joining us here at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Green and white, red and white on a night we think pink. 2 series for each team. Drew Tate making his first start in the CFL got banged up in his first possession after he threw a completed pass to Roughriders Bryant, who fumbled the football, had it stripped. And now the Riders will boot this ball away as you saw that kind of funky formation. Chris Milo. Larry Taylor brought down by Kai Stewart, special teams specialist for the Roughriders, his 18th special teams tackle on the season. Henry Burris has his helmet on, but Drew Tate comes back in. Here's what happened for those of you who missed this.
Well, Drew Tate completed the pass to Roughriders Bryant. He was stripped on the play by Tristan Jackson. James Patrick recovered. You see Drew Tate making the beeline.
And a major hit by
touchdown saving tackle by Drew Tate. But he came up from that one. As you see him throw that left shoulder out there with the arm away from the body a little bit. He came up shaking that arm, clearly a left shoulder issue.
Tells you a lot about Drew Tate, how hard he plays. John Cornish again. Cornish going forward. Triple team that time. Tristan Jackson, Baron Simpson in on the play. Cornish's second touch of the ball game, already ran for 7. That's a gain of 4 yards. His second series for this Stampeder offense. Our starting lineups brought to you by Rona, proud partner of the CFL and its 8 teams.
Well, and as well as Drew Tate in this starting lineup this week, Landon Talley continues in place of the injured Kenyon Rambo. John Gott stays in at left guard in place of an injured Steve Middleton.
Tate hangs in, fires, first down, and a little more. There's Landon Talley. As Wayne mentioned, filling in for Kenyon Rambo, and he's filled in admirably. Rambo missing another game with his Achilles tendon problem.
Drew Tate starts out on fire, completing his first 3 passes. Here, Talley finds that soft spot, zone coverage. He's got a little bit of room to catch that one in front of the free safety, Craig Butler.
Yard pickup up near the 41-yard line. Take the handoff to Cornish, the Canadian player of the week. Again, close to that 8-yard average, which is remarkable for any back. It doesn't matter where you come from. You average 8 yards per carry. That helps your team considerably. The Stampeders have rolled out the best rushing record so far in the CFL.
The Saskatchewan defense that'll look to shut that down will be led by Dario Romero. Nobody would love to play spoiler more than him. Jarrell Freeman continues his outstanding season. Bright spot in a tough year. Chris McKenzie, 2 pick sixes so far this season.
There goes Cornish again. So tough to bring down. Jarrell Freeman grabbed him by the ankle to make the tackle. Jarrell Freeman's 89th tackle on the season. That leads the Canadian Football League coming in to week 17.
And that play is a perfect example of the burst, the explosion from John Cornish.
Major foul, face mask, Saskatchewan, number 2. 15 yards from the end of the play, automatic first down.
The man in the middle, Baron Simpson, another penalty here early on against the Roughriders. A big one, the face mask.
We'll take another look at it. Baron Simpson getting pushed back. He's on that back pedal and gets the left hand right up under the grill.
Umpire Harry Steen right in the middle there making that call. Drew Tate at the 37. Play action again. Tosses it deep. And in the midst, but unable to hang on was Nick Lewis as Chris McKenzie was blanketing him.
Well, what affected Drew Tate on this throw was the fact that he had 2 Saskatchewan Roughriders in his face, so he couldn't fully step into the throw. See Terrius George going airborne in front of him, Baron Simpson there as well. If Tate's able to step into that throw and lead Nick Lewis a little bit more, that's a touchdown.
Very close. Chris McKenzie just got a fingertip, it looked like, on that ball. McKenzie with 2 picks this season, as you saw. Both went for touchdowns. And we've got movement here. And whistles. Our referee tonight is Kim Murphy. It's against the Roughriders again.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 98. 5-yard penalty remaining, second down.
It's Kenny Rowe, newcomer this season, really the last few weeks to the Roughrider defensive front. And with the Oregon Ducks a few years ago, a former defensive MVP in the Rose Bowl.
Well, they've struggled to fill the shoes of Brett Hawkins at that spot all season long. It's been a revolving door.
Second down, 5 yards to go. Tate decides to throw, finds a receiver, and Romby Bryant. It's been an auspicious start tonight for number 83. Made 1 catch, had it stripped, and that one should have been caught.
Well, it sure should have. It looked like Romby Bryant reacted to it late as he came back on the route. Seemed to locate the ball late coming out of his break. But nonetheless, when Drew Tate puts it on the money like that, you've got to come up with the catch.
So Rene Paredes, his almost 77% average, 30 of 39 on the season. Former star at Concordia, 39-yarder. Kick is up, and he misses it right. Weston Dressler's thinking about it. Decides to bring it out. Up near the 14-yard line. That's where Darian Durant will go to work when we come back.
Establish himself as the Calgary Stampeders starter. This is his first start taking over for Henry Burris. Darian Durant really just looking to establish himself as the leader of this football team.
Season that certainly has gone downhill. How the mighty have fallen. The Saskatchewan Roughriders, 3 of the last 4 years in the Grey Cup game. The last 2 years playing for the Grey Cup, and this year not going to the postseason. 4-11 record, and now into spoiler role looking for next season.
Yeah, we mentioned Darian Durant as to why he's playing this week. He wants to finish the season on a strong note and set an example for his teammates.
Durant, far side. Another first down for Getzlaff with the catch. 46th reception of the season as he moves close to a 1,000-yard season. 14-yard pickup.
Got to look at this Calgary Stampeder defense. Defensive end Chris McCoy, the newcomer, had 2 sacks last week as they look for the answer on the opposite side from Charleston Hughes. Robert McEwen back in the lineup at middle linebacker. Juwan Simpson bumps over to the weak side. Jeff Tisdale, some ups and downs last week, but came up with 2 interceptions against Toronto.
6 to go, opening quarter, zeros on the board. From Hill hauling it in. Stampeders are saying no catch, but the official right there is saying indeed a reception.
Ephraim Hill does a nice job of coming back to the football here. Slightly underthrown ball. Ephraim Hill is working back towards the ball, goes down and gets it. Come up with an important catch to keep the drive alive.
Right in front of Johnny Dixon, indeed, a good catch. Good drive by the Roughriders. Been plagued by slow starts. Bad first halves this season. Tough to get out of the gates. This is one of their best so far. Weston Dressler knocked out of bounds by Greg Faustin on the far side. And one of the reasons this team is 4-11, certainly not the reason, but first quarter points.
Yeah, we could give a list of reasons why the Saskatchewan Roughriders record is what it is, but this is certainly one of them. Seeming like many weeks, they're not ready to play coming out of the gate.
Second and 3. Neil Hughes with the burst up the middle. 5-yard pickup and another first down for the Roughriders.
A quick hitter to the fullback, Neil Hughes, one of the unsung heroes of this football team. But Ken Miller in a situation where you'd think that they might start looking towards next year, getting some new faces in the lineup. We're not seeing a lot of that. He's going with a lot of his veterans still.
7th play of the drive. Brandon West again cutting back. Brought down, penalty flag on the play.
This one will go against the Calgary Stampeders.
Offside, Calgary, number 94. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
CFL on TSN is brought to you by Wendy's Baconator, the official hamburger of the CFL. First down and 5, Riders close to the red zone. Again, they pound the ground here this time. Brandon West meets a red stone wall. Chris McCoy, one of the leading tacklers there. They stop Brandon West. It'll be second down now.
Well, Brandon West is trying to be the Saskatchewan Roughriders' answer to John Cornish. Trying to take playing time away from the veteran Wes Cates. He's shown pretty good burst here. He's done a nice job for this team as a return man. Much of this season, we've seen a couple nice runs here in the first quarter tonight as well.
Roughriders have not put up many points this season, as well as West on second down gets stuffed again. The ball was loose. Juwan Simpson back in the lineup for the Stampeders. As Dwayne mentioned, Robert McCune moves into the middle, and Simpson has something to prove, he says. Bothered by a knee problem all season as well. There he is, one of the leaders of this Stampeder defensive unit.
Well, last year we'd have said that the linebacking core for Calgary was one of the strengths. Juwan Simpson had that outstanding season. Malik Jackson was terrific. It seemed like this year these guys never found their groove, and there's been a lot of shuffling in that unit as they try to find the right combination.
Chris Milo, 25-yarder, puts the Riders on the board. Kai Stewart making another special teams tackle. The other side, Kwasi Antwi wasn't too happy.
Well, no, if you watch these two guys, Antwi, number 47 in red, kind of puts the little boot. You see the elbow and the reaction from Kai Stewart, a right cross to the midsection.
Solar plexus. Drew Tate, 3 of 5 so far. Joffrey Reynolds, whose name has not been mentioned while playing for over a month. Healthy scratch. Joffrey Reynolds for John Cornish gets back in the lineup here tonight.
Well, the Stampeders, like the two-back platoon, LaMarcus Coker had been in the lineup along with Cornish. He's down this week, so Joffrey Reynolds gets a reprieve as he draws back in.
Who's been a superstar here. JR superstar the last few years. Missed the last 4 games. And to Landon Talley. A couple of jukes there. Nice moves downfield. Big first down. One of the biggest plays so far in this ball game with under 2 to go in the first quarter.
Landon Talley winds up as the inside receiver to the left side. Once again, he's just going to come underneath. Good timing route between he and his quarterback. Drew Tate, good awareness of where the defenders were.
Tate again, another quick read. And Talley again. Chris McKenzie again all over him. 5-yard pickup after the earlier 15-yard pass and run.
Well, there you see the combination of good understanding of the defense between quarterback and receiver. Drew Tate knows he's got to get rid of it in a hurry. because he's got unblocked guys. Landon Talley understands that he needs to give his quarterback an outlet, needs to get his head around, make his break a little bit quicker, and be ready for it.
Drew Tate's looked good so far in his first start in the CFL. He has played. It's not like he's a raw-faced rookie. He's played and apprenticed under Henry Burris as he makes another completion here to Jabari Arthur, close to the 45-yard line for Saskatchewan. But Drew Tate's been around, and as you saw last week in Toronto, he almost led his team to an incredible come-from-behind win.
Yeah, Drew Tate plays the game with a tremendous amount of confidence, and I think that's important. We've said it about backup quarterbacks in the past. There's nothing about Drew Tate that suggests this guy is coming in here thinking like a backup, trying not to lose the game. Drew Tate expects to win, and he plays that way.
Burris's struggles in Toronto last week led to Tate coming off the bench and led to this start this week. Tate throws again from his back heel. Nick Lewis will move the sticks and continue his pass-catching streak. Now 138 straight games and counting. And there's a sight we're not used to seeing at this time of year unless it's due to injury or just resting Henry Burris. You see Henry Burris tonight, unless Drew Tate struggles or in short yardage situations.
Yeah, and you know, everybody looks at this as the benching of Henry Burris, but the fact is the Stampeders are in a tight playoff race. Henry Burris has had a couple inconsistent outings. Drew Tate has shown what he can do. He's the hot hand right now. The Stampeders have to go with him.
Hot hand out of the backfield for Reynolds. Jarrell Freeman again, along with Dario Romero in on the tackle. Final play of the first quarter, low scoring, just 3 points on the board. The visiting Saskatchewan Roughriders lead on Wendy's Friday Night Football from Calgary. Drew Tate getting this start here tonight.
Well, I am, and
talk to a Scotia advisor. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
Back at McMahon Stadium, 1 quarter down. Typically low scoring for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. That's what they've done all season in 1 quarter. No scoring for the Calgary Stampeders, yet Drew Tate has looked awfully good so far. 8 of 10, 82 yards in the air. And I know you're one of the people that is a proponent of Drew Tate getting this start here tonight.
well, I am, and it's no secret that I'm a huge Henry Burris fan. You're talking about a guy who deservedly is the CFL's most outstanding player. But normally where you would give a veteran quarterback an opportunity to work through some troubles, you're in a situation right now where the standings are very tight, and because you have Drew Tate, you have the luxury of not having to wait for Henry Burris to work through his struggles. So it's not a shot at Henry Burris for him to sit, but more of a compliment to the fact that you have Drew Tate ready, able to go. This is why every Canadian Football League team wants to have 2 solid quarterbacks, is in case you run into this situation. Don't think we've seen the last of Henry Burris.
No, absolutely. Precisely the reason why Drew Tate is able to go is that it really hasn't been an apprenticeship. He is more than capable. Here he goes again, over the top to the 5-yard line for Forzani. Drew Tate, red hot right now, 9 of 11, and Forzani makes another catch. 26-yard pickup on the play.
Drew Tate, 9 of 11, could very easily be 11 of 11. He has been on the money throwing the football, and this has been his history in the Canadian Football League. Very accurate, very efficient passer. Johnny Forzani, 600 receiving yards coming into tonight's ball game.
First and goal now. Robbie Bryant carries and will get the touchdown. Stamps on the board. Robbie Bryant having some fun in the end zone. 6th time that he's been there this season, this time on the ground.
And Robbie Bryant is going to take the slot back sweep, comes in motion. Great block by Joffrey Reynolds, cutting down the man out in front. Opens up the lane for Robbie Bryant.
Robbie Bryant struggled out of the gate tonight. Made a catch, had it stripped, and then Had a drop, 8-play, 80-yard drive engineered by the guy making his first start in the CFL, Drew Tate. There is the score. Rombie Bryant normally catches a touchdown toss. This time takes the sweep, the handoff. Takes it to the house.
This Calgary offense, although they were scoreless technically in that first quarter, they seem to have started this game with some jump.
Well, Drew Tate came in, said, you know, he was going to throw caution to the wind. He's been there before and played big games before. In college, not as a CFL starter. Big game last week, almost led the Stampeders to victory. But said he would not be conservative and has been near perfect so far. Brandon West over the 30-yard line. Justin Phillips makes the tackle up near the 42. So Darian Durant, what are your thoughts on Darian Durant getting the start here and really an inconsequential game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders? Again, a guy who has a broken bone in his foot, also has a sprain in that foot. Do you think it's risky for the Roughriders to play Darian Durant at quarterback? I know everybody's been talking about it this week.
Yeah, it's absolutely risky. And for Saskatchewan, you've got nothing to gain by doing this. You have more to gain by evaluating the guys you've got behind them and deciding what direction you're going to go for next year.
Is it more of a statement about the guys playing behind Darian Durant than it is about Darian Durant? They must not have confidence in Ryan Dinwiddie or Cole Bergquist.
Well, you would think that that must be a little bit of a factor. And Ryan Dinwiddie obviously struggled in his half of football against Edmonton a couple of weeks ago. You know, I mean, the word is Darian Durant wants to play, and I understand him wanting to be a leader, but it's not up to Darian Durant to make that decision.
Some motion now, Durant. Lots of time. Now flushed out of the pocket and on that bad wheel has to take off. Now you can even tell, and we've seen the last few weeks, Darian Durant, who is so mobile, one of the most mobile quarterbacks in the CFL, he would have normally been out of there a lot quicker and a lot faster.
Yeah, certainly he's been hesitant to do that with his limitations. We want to take a look back a minute ago to that kickoff, revisiting the battle between special teams warriors Kai Stewart and Akwasi Antwi. These guys got into it again. Antwi took off his helmet at the end of the play. That was the flag that earned a few extra yards in field position for Saskatchewan.
We'll have to watch that battle. One of the best on special teams. Antwi and Stewart. Chris Getzlaff, one of the bright spots for the Roughriders this season. A year ago, the last 2 years, we've been talking about the Canadian Air Force, which has been grounded somewhat this year, of course. Andy Fantus did not start the season as he was trying to find employment in the NFL, and no Rob Bagg. But Chris Getzlaff has been the go-to big play guy.
Well, he has been the big play guy. I know from a Saskatchewan perspective, you might like to see the production on a more consistent basis. He's had a couple of huge games, and at other times he's been quiet.
Play action to West Cates. Durant open over the top. Going again to Getzlaff.
As Chris Getzlaff adds to his totals there, you see him leading all non-import receivers in yardage so far this season. Johnny Forzani, a Calgary, also on that list. But Getzlaff, as you said, Rod, a big play guy. He had 2 monster games this season against Toronto that really helped boost his yardage total, putting him on pace for his first 1,000-yard season.
Another newcomer is at the top of your screen. Freddie Barnes making his debut tonight. West Cates. There's a man who led the CFL in touchdowns last year with 16, only has 4 on the board this year, and his production has really shrunk.
Yeah, and a little bit of a sign of the times with this Saskatchewan football team. Obviously, West Cates, particularly in running back years, getting a little bit older and would benefit from what they've done tonight with Brandon West getting some touches, much like we've seen with the Joffrey Reynolds situation. Maybe part of a platoon, but not necessarily your every down guy at this point.
Riders are last in the CFL in rushing. They do a lot of this. Durant to Dressler. First down, a big hit there. See where they mark the ball here if they indeed give him a first down. Looks very close as Keon Raymond made the tackle.
Well, Keon Raymond is coming downhill all the way on this one as he sees this play develop. Closing on the receiver, Dressler, culminating in that big collision.
Winston Dressler moving close to another 1,000-yard season. Riders get a fresh set of downs inside the red zone. They set up for a field goal last time they were down in this area. Dressler on the inside handoff. Weston Dressler, that's a play that's been in their playbook ever since Dressler came up to the Saskatchewan Roughriders from the University of North Dakota.
It's a good play call based on what the Calgary Stampeders were doing defensively. Calgary had 7 men on the line of scrimmage. Dressler able to get around the edge. The Roughriders creeping close, though, now about the 8-yard line. They get a little tight with this offense, struggling the way it has to put the football in the end zone in recent weeks.
Team trying to find the end zone. Cates, left side, down near the 5-yard line. 3-yard pickup.
Ironic to see the roles in which Wes Cates and Joffrey Reynolds have been cast here tonight at this point in their careers or end of this season, considering that Wes Cates at one point was the second half of the running back platoon here in Calgary. He was the guy who occasionally came in to spell Joffrey Reynolds, had to move to Saskatchewan for an opportunity to become the featured guy.
The end zone's been like the twilight zone for the Roughriders. Can they find it? Durant? Yes. Touchdown. Finally, the Saskatchewan Roughriders offense has been able to score.
You can almost hear a whole province breathe a sigh of relief on that one as you see even the coaches, Ken Miller and Steve Barato, having a bit of a chuckle over on the sidelines with the stretch by Darian Durant. You think he wanted this one badly?
$286 minutes and 29 seconds, 18+ quarters. The drought is over. The Riders surge on top.
Getting reaffirmation that there is not a glass wall across that goal line.
Saskatchewan Roughriders reduced to spoiler rule now. Down the stretch of the season. Keon Raymond on the return up near the 35-yard line. Joining us on the sideline tonight is Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine.
Rod, from what I've seen here on the sideline, Henry Burris has been incredibly positive with all of his teammates, including Drew Tate. Fist bumps and head taps in encouragement as they come off the field. There hasn't been a lot of conversation specifically between the two, but there's been a lot of commitment from Henry Burris to support Tate. He said he was going to do that throughout the week, and he's sticking to his word.
That's no surprise. Henry Burris is a professional, is a team guy.
Take the rumor mill long this week to start churning things out as John Cornish churns out some more yardage. 12-yard pickup for Cornish. What has been a breakout season. You know, you talked about Joffrey Reynolds, and the law of diminished Joffrey Reynolds really began with the experiment last season of a 2-back set with John Cornish being utilized a lot more. Well, the Stampeders realized not only are we going to utilize John Cornish, but we might get more production from him.
Yeah, I mean, John Cornish's breakout year isn't this year, it was last year. And this year, it just became impossible to keep him off the field.
Close to a first down. 7 different receivers now for Drew Tate. Cornish in some select company as we talk about non-import backs and that magical number of 7+ yards per carry. And this is what Cornish has done the last 4 games.
Well, and these are the games since he became the starter. The numbers peaking even more at 9.5 yards a carry in those 4 games.
There he is again. Makes another couple Riders miss. That's what he does. Slips tackles, dodging, bobbing, weaving, and gaining positive yardage.
A product of the great BC high school football system, very competitive league there. Went on to an outstanding college career at the University of Kansas. Turned down opportunities to try out with NFL teams to sign with the Calgary Stampeders.
Tate, quick back step. There's Taylor. Larry Taylor dropped by Chris McKenzie and Craig Butler. And Larry Taylor, not only a dynamo on returns, but they've been using him quite a bit on offensive sets this season. His 17th catch of the season in a 20-yard pickup.
Well, a nice quick hitter here. And look at the recognition from Drew Tate and Larry Taylor. Again, this is film study, understanding what the defense is going to do in certain situations and where the ball is going to go. First place Drew Tate's eyes went were to Larry Taylor, knowing he was going to be open down that seam quickly.
Stamps continue to move the ball. Under 6 before halftime. Another rocket fired by Drew Tate. Jabari Arthur brings it in, and a lot of receivers have talked about Drew Tate. You know, you don't want to upset, Henry Burris's status on the team, but they've said that he throws a very tight spiral, and they are not missing a beat with Drew Tate in a quarterback.
Well, one of the things you have to love about Drew Tate, and it's the same comment that people made 15 years ago when Dave Dickinson first touched down in Calgary. Very accurate passer. I mean, the ball is right where it needs to be.
Cornish, couple blocks, and then is sandwiched and hit hard. Baron Simpson delivering the final blow here. John Cornish driven back. Now looks like a throwing down, and there is the offensive coordinator now. Dave Dickinson, as you mentioned, was one of the most accurate, in fact, the most accurate quarterback in CFL history for percentage.
Yeah, and I'm not just talking about completion percentage, but just in terms of the football, not whether it's caught or not, but the football getting to the place where it needs to be to make it an easy catch for the receivers. And it's something Tate does well, something Dickinson obviously did very well.
Tate stays on his feet to the end zone. Touchdown, Landon Talley. How about this? Well, we're used to watching a number 4 escape out of the pocket. Normally it's Darian Durant. Drew Tate, welcome to the club.
Yeah, his best Houdini act. He ducks Kenny Rowe here, resets, gets the eyes downfield, finds Landon Talley, and I'll tell you, if there was a nickname to be given to this Calgary Stampeder offense, I think we could dub this group the Replacements. Landon Talley in for Kenyon Rambo, Drew Tate taking over for Henry Burris, John Cornish in for Roughriders Reynolds, and they are on a roll right now.
Something the Stampeders have not been on
Baby, I miss you.
over the last month. Dropping 4 of 5, 2 heartbreaking losses in a row on the last play of games on field goals. Otherwise, the Stamps very well could be 10-5 right now. Not lost on John Huffnagel, who has obviously tried to get his team back on the winning ledger this week. Drew Tate sizzling so far here tonight.
Drew Tate certainly looks the part, living up to the billing. We've seen some terrific performances from Drew Tate in relief, the best of which was last week, coming off the bench, playing a little over a half of football against the Toronto Argonauts, a game where, quite frankly, he deserved to come away with the W. Here he gets to make his first start. We'll get our first full game sample, but if the first 26 minutes of this football game are any indication, Drew Tate looks just fine as the starter.
And it makes you wonder, if this does continue, if this was not an experiment to put Tate in here tonight with Burris struggling lately. If indeed this is a changing of the guard at quarterback for the Calgary Stampeders. There's still 2 more weeks after this, of course, in the playoffs, but we're not used to seeing Henry Burris give way to this.
And Rod, you mentioned a minute ago the arm strength of Drew Tate. Here, he's got to throw the ball this way, but he's set to throw this way. He's throwing across his body based on where his momentum's going. I mean, that is all arm. And again, delivers it with velocity and accuracy.
Dario Romero was hurt on the play as we await the point after the Stampeders move ahead here. You know, Drew Tate and Henry Burris, very similar starts in the Canadian Football League, both with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Tate, 2007 on the injured list with a shoulder problem. In 08, a backup behind Marcus Crandall, Darian Durant, and Stephen Giles. And of course, Durant took over the team. And then Drew Tate came to Calgary, became a backup. Tonight he starts. The Stamps have started on fire. Have come and gone in the Canadian Football League, but not too many have done one significant thing on that board.
Well, the thing that stands out with Drew Tate in his career thus far, he has yet to throw a CFL interception. 12 touchdowns, 0 interceptions through 150 pass attempts.
Touchdown pass to Landon Talley makes it 14-10 Stampeders. Brandon West trying to find the seam. Robert McCune, not only linebacker tonight in the middle, but also on special teams, stays on the field now, and Darian Durant will try to respond.
Oh, Darian Durant will need to respond. Again, part of the point in Darian Durant playing is for this team to finish strong and to try to go into the offseason on some sort of a positive note.
McCoy, the tackle from behind. The Roughriders' offensive production, they were not among the league leaders last year in the CFL. What the Riders were great at were staying in ball games and coming back and winning games in the second half. And under Ken Miller, that's really been their MO the last couple of seasons. Quite simply, they dug themselves in too big of a hole early in the season under Greg Marshall. 1-7 start, never got out of it. 2nd and 5. No catch according to the official right there.
Well, Weston Dressler worked hard to try and sell this one. Getting up and bursting downfield. We'll take another quick look here.
And it's the 3-minute warning on the field. We'll be back.
We'll take another look back at the catch or no catch from Weston Dressler, and I'll tell you, you'd have a tough time overturning this. I honestly think Weston Dressler kept this one off the ground. I mean, if you watch him get his right hand underneath this football, and that right hand stays underneath it the whole way, the only place it might have cost him is when he rolled to his right a little bit. You could argue that he might have trapped it there.
No challenge flag, however. Chris Milo, very effective in his first year kicking with the Roughriders. Well, time to update the sack tally tonight, brought to you by Purelator, tackling hunger across Canada. Check. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders and Calgary Stampeders near the bottom of the CFL this season.
Yeah, two teams that have struggled all year to find consistent pass rush. We'll keep an eye particularly on Calgary tonight, though. You've got Chris McCoy, who's coming off his first 2 CFL sacks last week against Toronto. And on the other end, of course, Charleston Hughes. 5 of his 7 sacks this season have come against Saskatchewan.
No sacks yet tonight. Stamps with a 4-point lead, and Drew Tate. Hand off to Cornish. Aaron Simpson brings him down. Aaron Simpson, a couple tackles tonight, came into the game with 948 career tackles. His sun begins to dip on Aaron Simpson's outstanding career in the Canadian Football League. Willie Pless is the all-time leader. Mike O'Shea on the list, and also Alondra Johnson.
So very impressive company for Barron Simpson, a guy who has hinted that this will be the swan song for him.
Tate, little pump fake. Dangerous toss over there for Nick Lewis. Watched by Sean Lucas to some tight coverage as Tate tried to zip it in there.
A gutsy throw there from Drew Tate. The first one you could argue that he's tried to force in somewhere in this football game.
And very close to possibly being that first pick. It's a remarkable number that Drew Tate's been able to protect the football. Again, playing in spot duty behind Henry Burris and backup duty, also in short yardage situations, but not tonight. Dirk Dales among the league leaders with Damon Duvall for punting. High kick, lofting. Tristan Jackson from near his 30-yard line. Randy Chevrier, special teams tackle. Justin Phillips. Minute 47 to go, and Randy Chevrier tonight really is the guy who is behind Think Pink and Pink Power tonight. He is the spokesperson here for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Canadian Cancer Society. Getting all of the benefits tonight from selling some of the pink memorabilia and merchandise. Cause close to Chevy's heart. Weston Dressler, first down and more. 11-yard pickup.
Weston Dressler in his last game against the Calgary Stampeders back on October 1st held very quiet, just 2 catches, 10 yards in that game. He's been a busy receiver tonight for Darian Durant.
Deeper drop this time, Durant. And Ephraim Hill. Watch closely, Keon Raymond in coverage. Raymond has 5 interceptions this season.
And Ephraim Hill is trying to argue that Keon Raymond was in a little bit early on this one. I thought Raymond played it pretty well, timed it pretty well, as he's got fair opportunity to make a play on that football, which he did.
Also has brought 2 of those picks back. Second in the CFL in interceptions behind Javon Johnson. The lob toss for Wes Cates. And is going nowhere as the Stampeders read that perfectly.
Yeah, and this is what the Stampeders personnel people love about Chris McCoy, feeling this young man can be an impact player from his defensive end position. He starts off rushing the quarterback. He's at the line of scrimmage. He's going to get upfield, but you're going to see the recognition of what's going on. He sees Cates setting up for the screen, not only recognizes it, but then outruns the blocker, Gene Mikowski, to get there and track down Cates from behind.
Former 7th round pick in the NFL with the Miami Dolphins out of Middle Tennessee State. Murray Taylor. Velo trying to angle it. Taylor comes close to the sideline to the 15-yard line, and good coverage from the Roughriders. Craig Butler, Western Mustang, and LaRon Mitchell. A couple of Mustangs galloping downfield. You like when I say Mustangs, don't you?
Especially when it's preceded by undefeated.
Undefeated, #1 ranked as they head to another weekend in the CIS. Calgary Dinos ranked #2 in the country. Laval #3 as that season winds down. And of course, TSN, you're home to the CIS playoffs and also the Vanier Cup this year. A minute to go before halftime. Joffrey Reynolds gets another touch here. Jarrell Freeman in on another tackle. CFL action continues tomorrow. Alouettes to Winnipeg. Big one. First place in the East on the line. BC Lions try to stretch their win streak to 9 against the Hamilton Tiger Cats and trying to keep pace with the Edmonton Eskimos, who again moved to 10-6 earlier tonight with a win in Toronto. They fight for home playoff positioning in the West. Cornish out of the backfield. Aaron Simpson trying to track him down. Eventually gets there, but not after Cornish had picked up almost 25 yards.
Nice execution on that swing screen by the Calgary Stampeders. Essentially, you've got the two receivers blocking the two outside defenders. Then it comes down to a matchup of speed between Cornish and Baron Simpson. And sorry, Baron, but I don't like your chances in that one.
Up now near the 39-yard line. Maybe a couple of shots downfield here. Get it in field goal range. This looks like Calgary moved prior to the snap. Judging by Drew Tate's reaction, that's exactly what happened. Edwin Harrison, the left tackle. Spot that before this year was Ben Archibald's.
Procedure, Calgary, number 53. That penalty is declined. The clock will start on the referee's signal.
And Edwin Harrison's been in and out of the lineup at left tackle this season with Tony Washington, who was a scratch tonight as they've been trying to find that heir apparent to Ben Archibald. Not easy to do. 17 before halftime. Will hit screen for Nick Lewis. Clock ticks down to 9 seconds. First down. Looks like it's going to go down to 8. So timeout.
Timeout.
Drew Tate calls it.
Calgary.
Certainly one more shot to get into field goal range. Rene Paredes' longest field goal of the season, 50 yards.
Paredes also with an attempt, longest attempt this year from 54. Look for the sideline route here so that they can stop the clock quickly, get it out of bounds.
Trying to get it close to that 45-yard line. Tate throws over the top and dropped. And Johnny Forzani. So 2 seconds. At this point, really the only play would be to either think about the second half or Hail Mary it downfield.
It wouldn't shock me to see the Calgary Stampeders take a shot down the field.
Why not?
Saskatchewan predictably going into prevent mode already with their defenders, their secondary backed up about 20 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Barring penalty here, final play before halftime. Send it to the boys in the studio. Tate. And that will do it. Jabari Arthur. Oh, hang on. There is a penalty flag. And what a break here for the Calgary Stampeders. Looks like it's going against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
And the question is, just how much yardage are they going to get here?
At the very least, they will get another play.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Saskatchewan, 93. 15 yards, automatic first down.
Terrius George, the former Stampeder.
And it opens the door for the field goal attempt.
Look at this. Plus 15 yards down to the 30-yard line. It's going to be about a 37-yarder here for Paredes. And that sort of sums up the kind of year it's been for the Roughriders.
Watch the right hand from Terrius George right in the middle of your screen, kind of the spinning punch there from the former Stampeder. He's been into it with his ex-teammates a couple times here tonight.
Well, we'll see if the Stampeders make the Roughriders pay. Paredes puts it through. And what an outstanding start for Drew Tate and the Calgary Stampeders here tonight. They get a last-second field goal. It's halftime, and it's 17-10 Calgary.
Back in the wins.
Thanks for this.
No problem.
Brandon West with the Riders getting the ball here. Looks like he lost it, but was down at the 30-yard line. Have you ever heard of anything like that? Have you ever experienced anything that going back to youth football? Some 18 quarters without a touchdown, an offensive touchdown?
Certainly not that I recall. Somewhat unheard of. And in this league with so many ways to even get in field position to score, even if it's just your offense that you're looking at scoring, it's tough to do in Canadian football.
It's almost like it was a snowball that just never stopped. Riders finally get their touchdown. Offensively, had last scored September 17th in the second quarter against Toronto. Weston Dressler over the 40-yard line, very close to a first down. In fact, he will move the sticks, an 11-yard pickup. The Riders in spoiler mode here for the final 3 games of this season. Usually a Saskatchewan-Calgary game at this time of year. Get a full house, red and green here at McMahon Stadium, and the Riders certainly would have playoff implications in the game, but it's been that kind of year for Saskatchewan.
Well, they dug themselves in a hole early. The first 6 or 7 weeks of the season, they were never able to recover.
2 teams that have met in a playoff game 3 of the last 4 years. Wes Cates plowing forward but going nowhere. Sean Ware making his CFL debut makes the tackle, and the jockeying has begun. The Eskimos set the pace earlier tonight with a win over the Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but they got it done. It puts the pressure now on BC and particularly on the Calgary Stampeders. You heard the boys in the panel talk about it. Stampeders, if they want to keep their hopes alive of hosting a playoff game, they need this one.
Yeah, need to hold serve here. BC and Edmonton next week. Oh, what a catch made by Dressler. Far side, another first down.
The revival of this Saskatchewan Roughrider offense has a lot to do with this guy, number 7, Weston Dressler. Favorite target of Darian Durant here, and getting him involved is critical to the success of this football team. He is their number 1 weapon, particularly in the absence of Andy Fantuz.
And he is 9 yards away from 1,000 yards on the season. Like Drew Tate, Darian Durant's been throwing for a high percentage here tonight. Once again, Wes Cates hounds it into the middle. 4-yard pickup. You heard Milt Steedle talk about it. You know, Darian Durant playing on a broken foot, you don't see that happen very often, particularly. You might see it happen if the game meant something, a must-win game for your season riding on it, and he had to do that a couple of weeks ago, but heart of a lion, this guy still wants to play, still wants to be a part of this.
Well, it's not a shock knowing the character of Darian Durant. Just a little surprised that the Roughriders are willing to put their key guy in this situation.
Here's the drop by Durant. First down by Ephraim Hill, down near the 35-yard line. Darian Durant, even with that foot problem, looking very good here tonight. 18-yard pickup. This is like the Darian Durant we have seen the last couple of seasons in Saskatchewan, able to distribute to a variety of receivers and staying away from the pressure, not getting sacked, not hurrying the football. 12 of 15, 123. Again over the middle. Once again, Ephraim Hill. 8-yard gain.
Darian Durant is getting time from his offensive line as well as running back Wes Cates, who comes across to pick up the rush from the edge on this one. Now it's time for Ephraim Hill to find that opening as you see him come into that window between defenders in the middle of the field.
Cates is in the backfield now behind Durant in the gun. His 2nd down and 2. Give it to him. Has to keep plowing here. May require a measurement.
The Stampeders in those 2nd down short situations, we've seen them a few times, bring everybody right up to the line of scrimmage, and if they can just give Wes Cates or Brandon West a bit of a crack, Saskatchewan could find themselves a big run because there aren't a lot of red bodies, red jerseys behind there to make a tackle if they can just break the line of scrimmage. And here you'll see it. 8 men right up on the line of scrimmage. Classic Chris Jones defense.
Behind center now is third-string quarterback Cole Bergquist, getting some short yardage duty. Weber International has not seen a lot of time. Some people, I'm sure, in the province of Saskatchewan looking ahead to 2012 may think that, you know, might have been an opportunity to see more of a Cole Bergquist or even Ryan Dinwiddie, giving him another chance. There's Dinwiddie, and he had his chance a few weeks ago, making the start.
And you could contend that maybe they've made a decision, or they've seen enough of Ryan Dinwiddie, a veteran quarterback, and I don't mean enough in the sense that he's done as a Saskatchewan Roughrider, but enough that he has some experience in this league. There's been an opportunity to evaluate him, but you'd think at some point in these final 3 games, we're going to see a little bit of Cole Bergquist, and they're going to try to evaluate him.
But if you're playing the string out, you got 3 games, and you have a quarterback, your starting quarterback has a broken foot, chances are pretty good that your backup quarterback might get the start.
Typically, yes.
Darian Durant looking good tonight, however, and this one is just an overthrow for Chris Getzlaff.
And finally, Calgary brings a little bit of heat on this play. They bring the safety blitz. Eric Fraser, the safety number 7, is going to come down. The sight of him coming into the picture as he runs, gets around Gene Mikowski there, forces the throw to come just a little bit early from Darian Durant. Knowing that Durant's mobility is compromised here, I expect to see Calgary pressure a lot more because you know he can't run on you.
Here they come. There the ball goes. Looking for Getzlaff again, and they were bringing the house, and Darian Durant's on the turf.
Well, Eric Fraser was in the mix once again. This has been part of his role over the last couple of years with the Calgary Stampeders, this time again coming from the top. They've just got them outnumbered. He's the free man, which means Darian Durant has to throw hot. Hurried throws are less accurate than unrushed throws. This is why you get after the quarterback. On that one, Durant came up short.
That has been an issue this year for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, protecting Darian Durant. Here's Chris Milo, 37-yarder. Right down the pipe, make that 31-yarder. 17-13 Saskatchewan. Close one here tonight, maybe too close for the Calgary Stampeders, and they're faithful. Need a win here tonight, with Edmonton winning earlier. John Cornish. You heard him in his conversation with Jermaine Franklin talking about them taking away, Saskatchewan taking away the run game, and another 11-yard pickup for Cornish.
Well, John Cornish keeps finding a way. He's got that great change of pace and patience, allowing the blocks to set up in front of him before exploding upfield, as he did on that first down run. As Cornish mentioned, if Saskatchewan is going to overplay that run, they feel that Drew Tate with some play action and some bootlegs can really take advantage of that throwing the football.
Tate kicked. His first pick. He's delivered in the Canadian Football League by Nick Graham. Big turnover for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and good field position. Drew Tate's streak has been snapped by Nick Graham, who has his first CFL interception.
And tough to tell whether the ball got away from Drew Tate or if Romby Bryant ran something different than what Drew Tate expected, and I suspect it's the latter, as quarterback and receiver were in serious conversation on the sidelines afterward.
Second-year rider, Tulsa product, Nick Graham. Picks off Drew Tate's first in 156 attempts. Darian Durant had lots of time there. Brandon West. Eric Fraser bringing him down.
Well, Eric Fraser's had an real impact over the last couple defensive series, blitzing from his safety spot a couple times on the last play, and here with a fine open field tackle on Brandon West. Once again, Darian Durant gets a fair bit of time, able to step up a little bit, but he's not going to take off like the Darian Durant we've become accustomed to seeing over the last few seasons.
No, normally we'd see him about 10 or 11 yards downfield in that play. Obviously affected by that ankle and foot tonight. Kerry Cope with the reception will move the sticks again down near the 37-yard line.
And the key to Darian Durant's ability to be successful here tonight again is him getting time, being able to throw from the pocket. Once again, that time the offensive line doing a terrific job. Darian Durant not being forced to test that mobility, to test out that broken foot a whole lot.
Riders doing what they normally do, and that is get better as games progress. Durant, hands is in the pocket, and then one hopper over to Wes Cates, so it's an incomplete pass.
Well, Darian Durant got the happy feet a little bit that time, and you saw the effect that had on the throw as he one-hopped it to his receiver.
Good call by the officials right there. It'll be 2nd down and 10 now for the Roughriders. Trying to convert this turnover into some points. Three-man rush. They get to Durant, and he has it picked off. Charleston Hughes to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. No flags on the field. And there's a ball that Darian Durant would love to have back. Under pressure, three-man rush, threw it away to Charleston Hughes, who almost took it the distance.
Well, Charleston Hughes starts off at his defensive end position, but he's going to drop in coverage. This could be part of Darian Durant not understanding exactly where he was. But the over-the-head hook shot, costly. Now, as he gets run down, as Hughes gets run down from behind, Eric Fraser comes over late to try and get a block. Fraser could have been there a lot earlier. He was out in front of Hughes, celebrating what he expected to be a touchdown, and he turned back earlier. They'd have scored.
Well, they'll score now. Cornish to the end zone. And the Stampeders get the ball back. Huge interception by Charleston Hughes, 65 yards down inside the 5-yard line, and John Cornish caps it off.
Calgary offense capitalizing on a big break provided by their defense. Well blocked, nice job at the right tackle spot by Big Stanley Bryant. Get the hooks on his man, not let him pursue to the outside on Cornish.
What a turn of momentum. Stampeders give the ball back. Roughriders look like they could even take it down and maybe take the lead and then give up that interception. There it is, the point after. The lead is 11 here in Calgary. Been pinked up tonight. John Cornish finds the end zone, and a lot of the players again wearing the pink, and it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and trying to increase awareness of women's cancers. Canadian Cancer Society benefiting tonight from all of the merchandise that has been purchased, and players have certainly bought in, and you know, it's a disease that is close to everyone. We have all been touched by it, particularly the spokesperson here in Calgary. His mom, Randy Chevrier's mom, is a breast cancer survivor. Lost a cousin to the disease. Wes Lysak used to be the spokesperson. Of course, when Wes left after the season, Randy Chevrier took over.
Well, as you said, Rod, I think virtually everyone has been touched whether directly or indirectly, by this disease. As you see, Randy Chevrier, it's a no-brainer to get on board, and I think the CFL should be commended for their support of the fight against cancers.
And the Pink Power campaign here in Calgary has really been organized and led by John Huffnagel's wife, Penny, who has been heavily involved the last couple of years. There's Huff,
sporting his pink.
So the injured Stampeder to the sidelines, and now the Roughriders try to bounce back from that turnover and the touchdown. Down 11 points. Durant to Ephraim Hill, first down.
Yeah, good spot.
Before that pick, Durant had pitched a pretty clean game, and his 14th interception of the season. Go with 18 touchdown passes.
And taking care of that football so important to the Saskatchewan Roughriders' success.
Durant led the CFL in passing yardage for quarterbacks last year. Chris Getzlaff came back to the football. Looks like he's going to move the sticks again. Durant, though, has been known to be one of those quarterbacks who throws the touchdowns, but also can throw a number of picks.
Yeah, exactly. Last year, 25 touchdowns, still 22 interceptions. And this year, the number's pretty close as well. But night and day when you look, and we'll talk more about it, but the difference between his performance in terms of touchdowns, interceptions, in victories versus losses.
Losses have piled up. Saw the number there, Brandon West. Justin Phillips with the tackle. It'll be second down and a throwing down again for Durant.
Well, 9 touchdown passes versus 2 interceptions in the 4 wins. You've got the glaring 11 interceptions against 9 touchdowns in the 11 losses. It tells a huge story. The most telling stat in football in terms of predicting wins and losses is that turnover battle.
Second and 8. Here's the rush. Durant. Again, it's Getzlaff, and he lunges forward. And Getzlaff seeing a lot of football tonight. Of course, as we mentioned earlier, the Roughriders without Andy Fantuz again with that ankle issue. Fifth catch for Getzlaff on the night.
Getzlaff had that monster game against Calgary last fall. 5 catches, 201 yards in that ball game. But he's been quiet against the Stampeders through their first 3 meetings of this season. It seems like the Roughriders as a whole, though, are much more balanced, much more effective offensively than we've seen them maybe all year.
Ephraim Hill unable to hang on, watched by Greg Fawcett. And he knows that he had a very good chance of bringing that football in.
But Ephraim Hill lines up as the middle man in that 3-receiver set, as he frequently does, coming underneath, and that's one that he needs to have.
And again, Durant's going to have to go to the air here. Keep this drive alive. Just over 2 minutes remain in the third quarter. Riders trail 24-13. The time, Durant slings it out for Kerry Cope right at the first down marker, and it looks that's like where they're going to mark this. See if it will require a measurement. Might be a little bit shy here. A half a yard from this vantage point, so here comes Cole Berquist again for the short yardage third down plunge.
Berquist out of the University of Montana. Likely has some friends and family that have made the trek north for this one.
And forward. There's the first down. Well, as we pick up the merchandise here, the NFL on TSN, that we can remind you continues Sunday. The Colts travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Sunday night football live. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. You can also watch the game live on TSN Mobile TV. The Riders get the first down. Eating up a lot of this clock on this drive again. Durant, deep drop. Going deep to the end zone, and Weston Dressler watched by Brandon Smith. Dressler looking for calls, not getting it.
Oh, great defensive play there by Brandon Smith, who solidified that field halfback spot for the Stampeders. Dressler makes a nice adjustment to turn and go to the outside shoulder here. Smith in good position in front of him, gets the head around. Not sure if he got a fingertip on that one or not, but certainly did enough to keep Dressler from making the play.
Second down again. Here's the rush. Durant lets it go. Open man making the catch at 11-yard line. Guess who gets left?
Well, this ball was a little bit off the mark. Chris Getzlaff had to get on his horse over the last couple steps to fight back and get this football. He's open, the ball's a little short. You see him with those last couple lunging steps, gets the feet down in bounds. Set up the Riders with a first down from the 11-yard line.
Should be final play, third quarter. Unless there's a penalty. Durant's going to the end zone again. And Greg Fawcett on Ephraim Hill. It looks like he got nicked up. Retreating for that football. Final play, third quarter. It'll be 2nd and 10 when we come back. Riders down 24-13 on Wendy's Friday Night Football. This month in the Canadian Football League, at 24-13 Calgary. Stampeders hardly had the football in that third quarter. Only a minute and 30 seconds. Saskatchewan threatening early in the fourth, and we're doing our part to help out wherever you are this weekend. Pick up some merchandise.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only are you supporting a great cause, but
you look good in that.
We do look good.
You
don't
look
we?
good.
I know I do.
You pull that too common.
You could look as good as me.
Well, what about the Calgary Stampeders and Drew Tate looking very good here so far tonight? Gave up that first interception, but the Saskatchewan Roughriders, which you have to like, is this team is not going quietly into the end of the season.
No, it seemed almost as if the Saskatchewan Roughriders had to be eliminated from playoff contention to start playing like the Saskatchewan Roughrider team that we've become accustomed to over the last couple of seasons, a team that fights through adversity and deals with a bad situation. It seems to bring out the best in them.
Fourth quarter begins inside the red zone for Darian Durant. Had somebody jump on the line. The Stampeders get a little jumpier, with the Saskatchewan Roughriders draw them offside. Demetrius Morley. Looks like Calgary did jump.
Offside, Calgary. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
So remains second down. Again, the Roughriders have really held on to the football for a long time. This is a team that doesn't do very well in terms of time of possession in the CFL. That's been a weak spot for them this season, among many. Second down, 5. Durant smothered. The ball is loose. Calgary has it. Juwan Simpson recovers it. Demetrius Morley dusts Darian Durant.
Demetrius Morley is going to come right off the edge with that blitz. Gets to Durant with the big hit. The last man coming from the right side of that offensive line. Unblocked player, big hit from the blind side. to jar that ball loose.
Well, we've seen that hit delivered on another number 4. Buck Pierce twice this season from opposition that have come off the edge. The quarterback's looking the other way, almost identical fashion. Craig Butler delivered one, Jamal Johnson as well. Morley on the sideline. The Stamps have the football.
Darian Durant still getting some attention over on the Saskatchewan sideline after taking the big hit from Demetrius Morley.
There is a challenge on the play. And Miller feeling that perhaps Darian Durant was in the throwing motion and the ball was an incomplete pass. Let's take another look.
Well, and what you're seeing, Demetrius Morley, the 7th man there, against 6 blockers, so he's going to be the free guy, essentially Darian Durant's guy, so to speak. Now typically you've got to throw that ball hot, and it appeared that by Durant not throwing the ball away somehow, I mean, he doesn't even recognize that there's a man coming free, so there's a lack of recognition, lack of communication here, and this is the result.
On the field stands. It is a fumble. First down, Calgary.
As you mentioned, it is a fumble. Again, giveaways have been such an issue for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 2 turnovers here tonight, an interception, and that fumble by Durant. And that's on 2 occasions when the Roughriders were driving the football. This game could be a lot closer. In fact, the Roughriders could very well be leading. Jumper Reynolds in. Finds a seam. Sean Lucas, the tackle, up near the 30-yard line. 7-yard gain.
Well, for the talk of Saskatchewan trying to shut down the run, the Stampeders are certainly carving out some success on the ground in this ball game. 81 yards produced. Cornish, Reynolds working in tandem.
Second down, over the top. R.J. Franklin makes his first catch in quite some time since early in the season. Let's go down to Jermaine Franklin now with an injury update.
Rod, Darian Durant was obviously in distress and needed help coming off the field. First concern is a concussion. They're still testing him out, and he is definitely done for the night.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, chance down the road to see the backups for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and Durant playing on that bad foot. We're going to see those backups now. Tate has to deliver it. Nick Lewis coming back to the football. It'll be an incomplete pass.
Oh, Drew Tate tried to hang in on that one, knowing that Nick Lewis was going to come open for that short dump off. He hung in as long as he could, but it was so late that with the defenders right on him, he couldn't get anything on the throw to even make that little 5-yard outlet pass to Nick Lewis.
Tate, who almost was perfect in that first half, 17 of 23 now. 18 of 24. Lewis springs himself. And Mr. Yak Yards does it again. Nick Lewis has a few more on. 11-yard pickup, another first down for Calgary.
I've been watching it for 8 years, but the ability of Nick Lewis after the catch, particularly his ability to fight through contact, never ceases to amaze me here. Shrugs off Sean Lucas, goes over top of Tristan Jackson. Catches like a receiver, then runs like a running back.
So Jamel Richardson, you've got company. Nick Lewis, second position, 532 yards. Chris Williams, outstanding rookie season with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. There's an injury on the field as the Saskatchewan Roughrider is down. Calgary Stampeders here trying to drive the football again. Team that has lost 4 of their last 5, and again, we talked about it, Edmonton winning earlier tonight. Stampeders really in a must-win situation to try to keep pace with their Alberta rivals for a home playoff date.
Well, as much as you've got the 6 playoff teams decided already, 2 teams completely out of the mix. The great thing about all the scenarios in the Canadian Football League over the last 3 weeks of the season, I mean, we could even go back a couple of weeks and say every game has playoff implications. We've got about a month or month and a half of playoff football before we get to the real postseason.
Here are the West standings, including that win by Edmonton tonight. So the BC Lions at 9-6. They play tomorrow, as we mentioned. Calgary's 8-7. Trying to get to 9-7 tonight. Make it interesting. BC and Edmonton will meet next week. Calgary will finish the season off in Montreal next weekend. And then home to Winnipeg. Oh, what a catch by Larry Taylor. And then driven back by James Patrick. Taylor did well just to hang on to that football, though. 5-yard gain.
A big tackle by James Patrick, Mr. Versatility in this Saskatchewan Roughrider defense. He's a guy who started in 3 different positions for this team this season. Began the year as a starting free safety, which was a position he manned last year. He's played a number of games at the SAM, a strong side linebacker spot. Settling in at the strong side halfback spot in place of the injured Lance Frazier.
9 picks a year ago. Looked like some movement on the line there, but no call.
Easy out, Jeff.
Joffrey again. First down marker just over the 51-yard line. And it all depends on the spot here. And those chains will move. Another first down for the Stampeders here. Joffrey Reynolds getting some playing time.
Well, you're seeing lots of touches, and this is the system that the Stampeders use with their 2 backs, is that the starter essentially plays 2 of every 3 series, and the backup, so to speak, or in their situation, you could call them even 1A and 1B, where 1B gets that 3rd series. So Joffrey Reynolds is going to see lots of time. He and John Cornish essentially have just switched roles.
Cote out of the backfield, one-on-one with Barron Simpson, and then hit by Nick Graham. That will set up another 2nd down and 5-yard situation. Testament, though, to the class of Joffrey Reynolds, the way he has handled this demotion of sorts, where he has been literally sidelined the last 4 games.
Well, it's the same situation as Henry Burris. You've got veteran guys who understand what it takes to win and recognize that rocking the boat usually isn't part of the equation. You're not happy about losing playing time, but you're going to support your teammate and not do things that are going to make it harder for your team to win.
Tate again, another quick hitter. Finds his man. It's Robbie Bryant, and it's another first down. There's a penalty flag, though, up near the midfield stripe after that 8-yard reception from Robbie Bryant. What an impressive debut this has been for Drew Tate. Debut as a starter. Despite that interception, the only blemish tonight, really.
Illegal substitution. Saskatchewan 99. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Shamari Williams. The guilty party.
Roughrider defense that should be fresh, given the way they're dominated the time of possession in the 3rd quarter. Here's another turnover.
Tate fires again. Usually dependable Nick Lewis. Ball was a little underthrown, could not roll over and make that catch. And play coming for this drive. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
You wonder if Drew Tate will be so stingy as to go about another 160 attempts before he gives up another INT.
What a remarkable string. Broken up earlier by Nick Graham, but then the Stamps got the ball right back. Tate changes his call. Decides to go vertical. Look at this. Oh, almost. Graham,
recovery.
great coverage there on Johnny Forzani. It looked like Forzani had a couple of steps on him, and then Nick Graham closed the gap.
Yeah, Forzani had that separation. Nice touch on the football here from Drew Tate. Forzani had to hesitate just a second. Terrific recovery by Nick Graham. He's watching the receiver all the way. He sees Forzani's hands, reacting to that football, and times that shot from his hand. Based on that, timed out perfectly.
Burke-Dales angles one. It looks like it's going to float into the end zone. The Roughriders are going to give up a single point. Eventually makes it 25-13. A 58-yard boot by Burke-Dales. .7:14 to go here. John Huffnagel using change this week to help precipitate some change in his team's fortunes of late.
Well, John Huffnagel, yeah, he's certainly demonstrated no fear of making the difficult decisions.
Gutsy call to put Drew Tate in as starting quarterback. Henry Burris underachieved last week. Tate has delivered and has not looked like someone who has never started a CFL game.
Well, Drew Tate has never had the appearance of an inexperienced quarterback at any point in his career. I mean, we've talked a lot about that number, over 150 pass attempts before he throws his first interception. When you think about it, if you go through a quarterback's entire career and break it down into 150 pass segments, you would think that the first 150 should be the segment where he throws the most interceptions.
You would think.
Drew Tate comes out perfect for the first 150.
Beginning of something big here. John Cornish, speaking of which, he's head on with Craig Butler. Cornish does what he does best, hangs on, picks up more yardage.
Well, John Cornish just continues to roll ever since taking over. Some good job by the big boys up front, creating a seam for Cornish. They wash everything down to the left. Shamari Williams gets caught a little too far upfield, and that creates the cutback lane. Cornish now with 81 yards on the ground.
Another first down. Right near that average. Almost 8 yards a carry. Cote again. Darren Simpson dragging him down. I guess we shouldn't be that surprised about Drew Tate as well. You know, he is a former Big Ten Player of the Year when he was in Iowa. In fact, he probably still has the biggest highlight in Iowa Hawkeye history at the 2005 Capital One Bowl against LSU. Almost the Doug Flutie-esque last second pass to Warren Holloway to win the ball game. He's got the confidence. He's got the pedigree. And the pink flags fly.
Procedure. Calgary, number 63. A 5-yard penalty remains second down.
Partner, you know I'm going to ask you. Drew Tate, starter next week as well?
I thought you were going to ask a tough question.
And then going forward?
Yeah, I was getting ready to dig in with a deep answer.
But this is obviously Drew Tate's time right now.
Well, it certainly is. Drew Tate has lived up to his advanced billing.
Calgary is in Montreal next week. And big significance for the Stampeders, and this is picked off. Mike McCullough has the interception on the second pick that Drew Tate has thrown here tonight. Still 4.5 to go. This game still not in the win column yet.
Well, Mike McCullough sniffs this one out all the way. He's the middle linebacker on the hash marks. Hiding behind that goal post, drops into zone coverage. Drew Tate gets caught locking on the receiver on the right side. Really didn't seem to scan to see what was just off screen to the left.
Stampeders looking to play comeback again. Dinwiddie, though, needs to make some passes here. Runs and then throws downfield, and the ball is caught on the sideline, and I'm not sure that was intended for Weston Dressler, but he'll take it because it puts him over 1,000 yards.
Another one for the highlight reel for Weston Dressler. Great concentration here. You see Johnny Dixon go up in front of him. He's got another defender, Keon Raymond, bearing down on him on the sidelines, but to not only make the catch, but stay in bounds to do it. Classic Dressler.
4 minutes, Dinwiddie to Dressler again. So Weston Dressler, who went over 1,000 yards last season. The Saskatchewan Roughriders, 1,189. 3 of the last 4 seasons over that milestone.
The 2008 CFL Rookie of the Year. An instant hit in this league and has just enjoyed continued success.
One of the most sure-handed receivers around. And Kerry Cope draws a flag. It's an easy call along the corner with Jeff Tisdale.
And Jeff Tisdale takes the "you beat me" flag on that one. He knew Coke was in behind them. Just wanted to make sure he didn't catch the ball and score.
Calgary, number 29, point to foul, automatic.
Well, the Riders here making it very interesting. They've been to the red zone 3 times tonight. Have only come up with 1 touchdown. That was a significant one, though. It broke a streak of almost 4.5 hours of playing time. Coke gets into it with Tisdale. Touchdown here makes it a lot more nervous for these Calgary fans. Dressler can't lay out. Another overthrow from Dinwiddie.
Oh, Dressler got the inside release untouched. Dinwiddie looking to him all the way as he was working against Brandon Smith on that one. Again, just overthrown on the play. He had him.
25-13 the score. Under 3 minutes here. Riders need to punch it in the end zone. Dinwiddie with time, lets it sail, and unable to catch it in the end zone is Ephraim Hill. It looked like he had it in his mitts. Three-minute warning on the field. 3rd down upcoming.
Greg Fawcett in on the play, breaking up that attempted pass to Ephraim Hill. Hill had a late shot at it there. Ryan Dinwiddie disappointed in the end result. Fawcett tweaked his ankle on the play, leaping for that football. Made the short walk to the Stampeder dressing room.
Well, here it is. 3rd down, game on the line. Dinwiddie to the end zone again, looking for Hill. And Eric Fraser was there. Knocks it away. That will mean the Stampeders take over. Pretty much seal it now.
And with Fawcett injured, Fraser comes in a shuffle in the secondary. Demetrius Morley moves from safety out to corner in Fawcett's spot. Eric Fraser comes in at safety and almost comes up with a gift.
Yeah, there was a gift. Look at that highlight. Realize that very well could have had this 3rd interception. It's still a turnover on downs.
Well, Fraser, a guy who started his college career at Central Michigan as a receiver. Maybe that's why he got moved to DB.
There you go. 2:20 to go. Lead is a dozen. Stampeders looking to kill up the clock here. John Cornish keeps rambling. Here's our game story brought to you by Mr. Lube. Mr. Tate, you passed your first test.
Well, Drew Tate, his numbers weren't as good as they were in about a half of football last week, but what he put up in impressive fashion for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They end that painful drought without scoring an offensive touchdown. They got it done in the first half here, but they lost their quarterback, Darian Durant.
We may see more Ryan Dinwiddie or Cole Berquist for the Roughriders in their final 2 games. Saskatchewan plays it out against Hamilton next week at home, and then the final game of the season in Edmonton. Darian Durant off the bench now.
As Miltstiegel alluded to at halftime, I can't say enough about how much any player would admire Darian Durant for wanting to play in this situation. He came in and he played very well, but I think it's for the best that Darian Durant likely sit down for the next couple of weeks.
Along the sideline, Chris McKenzie brings down Nick Lewis. Just under 90 seconds to go here. Stampeders will get ready for the Montreal Alouettes. The Alouettes tomorrow have a big game in Winnipeg, part of our doubleheader tomorrow.
Timeout. Saskatchewan.
BC Lions in Hamilton tomorrow night. So they try to keep pace with Edmonton. Calgary, the logjam is going to go down to the final week of the season. Who will win the West? Who will have home field playoff advantage? Same is true over in the East with Montreal. An advantage right now, but Winnipeg could make it very interesting tomorrow. They could pull even. Dales. Bouncing football here. Brandon West. Stay out of the 5-yard area, so West has nowhere to go. He's out of bounds at the 35 with 1:15 to go. And who is the gladiator tonight, our Friday night gladiator?
Was there ever any doubt? Drew Tate came out on fire, throwing the football, distributing to different receivers, doing it with great poise, great confidence. And I even saw him make a tackle, busted up his shoulder doing it. But he has stayed in this football game and led the Calgary Stampeders by example. They look poised to collect victory number 9.
13 of 15 to start this game. A flash out of the gate. He's our Friday night gladiator, brought to you by Movado. Series 800 watch, and he'll have a new one after tonight. How about that? Your first CFL start. Think it on a Friday night, you could get a watch.
What do you do for an encore? I suspect Drew Tate was in line for a little bit of wrist wear last week had the Calgary Stampeders been able to pull out that football game.
Indeed he was. So the Stampeders, after back-to-back weeks of heartache, first to the BC Lions, then the Argos, last-second field goals, getting their mojo back here. Ephraim Hill down the sideline, inside the 40-yard line with 49 seconds to go. Well, as the fall promotion says, no lead is ever safe. Would still take a bit of a miracle here for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. But as we saw earlier tonight, the Edmonton Eskimos look like they put the sails up. We're ready to coast in with their 10th win of the season, and they almost were denied by the Toronto Argonauts, who sprung to life very quickly.
Yeah, an ugly finish for the Edmonton Eskimos in that football game in the Anything Can Happen Canadian Football League.
Well, while we have time, our nation's most abysmal drivers are back behind the wheel and ready for rehab. Canada's Worst Drivers 7 season premiere Monday at 10 Eastern, only on Discovery. Only on Discovery. Well, the Riders would have to find a way to the end zone quick and look for the onside kick. For the heading, you never know. throws it into traffic there. Weston Dressler, known for circus catches, would have had to make a beauty there. Second down again.
Ryan Dinwiddie just hasn't been able to connect with any consistency with any of his receivers in his second audition in the last 3 weeks here with the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Here's the rush. Dinwiddie avoids it and goes for Ephraim Hill, but again, another ball that sails way over his head. Come down to another third down. Well, Rough Rider receivers are finding out that Ryan Dinwiddie has a strong arm. They're just not able to run under it. Just 4 of 10 off the bench. Gasp. Well, still breathing because the spot is a first down. Kerry Cope calling it in.
Well, time is clearly their enemy.
And playing hard, though, to the final gun.
Well, and that is the positive in all of this. When you're the Saskatchewan Roughriders are a fan of their team.
Dropped by Eric Fraser. Sacked.
Well, Fraser gets redemption because he was the man who missed Dinwiddie a couple of plays ago. He had a clear shot at him. He was juked by the Saskatchewan QB. Fraser coming right from the right side of your screen. Unblocked man. 7 against 6. We've seen it all night long from the Stampeders. Ball's got to be out quick.
Timeout, Calgary.
Well, 7 seconds to go here. And this season that has been the roughest of rides for the folks in Saskatchewan. Another loss on the board, but Drew Tate makes his first start. A couple of interceptions in the second half, but for the most part, could be the early beginning of something great to come from a young quarterback that a lot of people have touted as one of the next ones.
And there are a lot of other teams around the CFL watching this, thinking what could have been. As Drew Tate was scheduled to become a free agent last offseason. And believe me, there were teams that had their sights set on this guy to be their starting quarterback. For the Calgary Stampeders, front office team did a terrific job getting this young man locked up to an extension prior to the end of last season. And now they appear poised to reap the benefits.
You know, he's had some flashes in the past, including last week, but tonight, the star may have been born for the Calgary Stampeders. Last play. That's it. Calgary Stampeders hold serve now in the West. 25-13 is the final. We'll send you to Sports Center. Good night, everybody, from Calgary.